Okay.
Sunilji, thank you, Madanji, for a wonderful, awesome session. Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita session. Radhe Radhe, Nitinji.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Pallavichi, and thank you, Madanji, for a wonderful session on Patanjali Yoga Sutra. A very warm welcome to all of you. Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening. Let's get started. Today we are going to get into the Nididhyasan aspect of Karm Yog, look at some of the tools that we could employ, put it all together basically. It's like a session where we start looking at some of the practical tools, how we can apply and get into a deeper discussion around that as well. And then we will pick up some of the scenarios as well over the next couple of days. Right, one of the threads I'm seeing which is kind of gaining traction on the portal is office politics, right, and negativity. How do we deal with that? So we'll try to create a framework around the Karm Yog that we are doing, right? The proof is in the pudding, and go over that as well. So without much ado, let me get started. We will get started with our today's topic of discussion by invoking the blessings from God and Guru. So let me share my screen and we will get started. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Hope you're able to see it. A very warm welcome to all of you once again. Let's get started. You all can recite it at your place, and then you're welcome to follow along with the shloka and we can get to it. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening. Happy Karwa Chauth to everybody in India. I'm sure a lot of you would have woken up pretty early today, eaten sargi, and might have gone to sleep as well. If not, then welcome to the session. Today's Karwa Chauth. I know we do it for Pati, and today we are going to talk about the Jagat Pati, right? Who is the Pati, basically the ultimate Pati, Maya Pati, Jagat Pati, whatever you want to call that. He's the ultimate and the true Pati. And so it's an occasion actually to fast for Krishna as well. A lot of people do that. I want to give it a shot. Let's see how that goes. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to recite it and then we can pick up a few participants to follow along. Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalheturvhu Mate sangostva karmani. So I think this alphabet that is there, it is phal, not phal but phal. Pho is your teeth will touch your lip. Pho, when you say that. See, Hindi language has all these nuances. Other languages don't have it. Pho, both of your lips will touch together. So it's the same difference between fool and a pool. You know, who's a fool and who's a pool. So it's phaleshu, not phaleshu. So let's get started.
Radhe Radhe, Payalji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Payalji.
Radhe Radhe. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalheturvhu ma te sangostva karmani. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you very much, Payalji. Radhe Radhe.
Sandhyaji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalheturvhu ma te sangostva karmani.
Wonderful, very nice, Sandhya. Okay, we can pick up the remaining hands real quick.
Riyaji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
No time pressure today, so we can cover stuff.
कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भुर्मा ते सङ्गोऽस्त्वकर्मणि.
Very
Radhe
nice.
Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Udiji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhur ma te sangotsva karmani. Radhe Radhe.
Last two hands. Thank you very much, Udeji.
Yeah.
Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Ashish.
कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भुः मा ते सङ्गोऽस्त्वकर्मणि.
Very nice, Ashish. Where are you joining us from?
India, Madhya Pradesh, Indore.
Okay, very nice. You get the best debut award. I think you did it for the first time today.
Sorry?
Did you do it for the first time today?
No.
Oh, you have done it.
This courses I am doing for the first time.
Got it.
But I read earlier, but not from
No.
him.
On the session, I'm saying, did you recite it for the first time?
Yes.
That's
This
what I was.
shloka I has recited for the first time.
Great, great. You get the best debut award for reciting today. So thank you very much.
Oh my God.
Okay. All right.
Rupaji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Get started.
Radhe Radhe everyone.
Radhe Radhe.
कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भुः मा ते सङ्गोऽस्त्वकर्मणि.
Yeah. Thank you, Rupaji. You may want to check your audio. It was breaking in between. All right, Akshata ji, Radhe Radhe. Last but not least.
Radhe Radhe, yeah, please go ahead.
నా వాయిస్ అంతా బ్రేక్ అయిపోతుంది. కనిపించట్లేదండి.
మా కర్మ ఫల హేతుర్భుర్ మతే సంగోస్తవ కర్మణి.
Thank you, Akshata ji. It's Mate Karmo Karmani. Thank you very much. So let's get started. So Lord Krishna is telling Arjun, we have been talking about this shloka. I don't know for how long we can go, but we'll wrap it up in probably a couple of more sessions. It's a very deep shloka. Few more aspects need to be covered, and then we need to get into the nididhyas and the practical aspect of it as well. So let's get started. Lord Krishna is saying you have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your action. And then he goes on to say, never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities, nor be attached to inaction. So let's get started today. This is what we are going to talk about today. Putting it all together, what we have been talking about, all the four principles. And 2.47, I found it a little coincidental, 2.47 and 24/7. Right? If we can do that, like we spoke, simple arithmetic, if we can mix devotion to our secular work, we are adding 8 more hours for our, to increase our odds of realizing our potential and doing a God realization by 3x. It's a multiple of 3 that we are increasing it by. So let's get started on this. All right, here is something, okay, you can be mindful of or think about. This is what Lord Krishna is saying. These are the 4 principles, and we are going to put it all together. First one is do your duty, but do not be attached to the results. Fruits of your actions are not for your enjoyment. Even while working, give up the pride of doership and do not be attached to inaction. We have gone into great length in discussing each one of these. Right? NATO is the acronym for the first one. Easy way to remember. Now, life without God is like, how is it like? It's like an unsharpened pencil. You know why? It has no point. Because when you take off Krishna, from your life, it gets replaced with another Shna, and that is Krishna. Okay, so the Krishna is the only one who can fulfill your Trishna. Otherwise, it's a www, right? It's not World Wide Web, but Wild West, basically. When you try to chase happiness in this world, it's just not going to happen. Okay, we may not be convinced today. We thought we might be the first one to achieve that gold medal in this Olympics of happiness, but it's not going to happen in this world, because this world is not capable of giving us the happiness that our soul seeks. We are fragmental part of God. Until we get divinity, that ultimate bliss of God, we are not going to. Our soul is say, I have not gotten what I was looking for. So either you go for Krishna or you run after Trishna, right? Mrig Trishna. Choice is always us. Krishna is the only one who can satiate our Trishna, nothing else. Okay, so it's life has no point basically if you don't mix God with it in some form or manner. The sooner we do that, the better it is. Otherwise, this process will continue lifetime after lifetime, and it's not going to take us much far. Okay, so let's move on. Give me a sec. All right, let's move on. So there are two aspects of work. Okay, let's understand it very clearly. We spoke about it briefly for Seva also. Okay, now let's look at the two aspects of work: the external activity that we do, and then the other aspect of it is the internal attitude towards it. What is our internal attitude toward the work that we are doing? This whole process of spirituality is all about working on our inner self. Externally, nothing is going to change. Like externally, if you look at even Arjuna, before Bhagavad Gita, he was supposed to fight a war. And after Bhagavad Gita, if somebody says, what was the difference? He went on to listen Bhagavad Gita and said, yes, Krishna, I have understood it, and finally he fought the war. But something changed, and something that changed was a drastic change. So spirituality is all about bringing about that inner change. Let's look at the difference between these two activities. Right, this is a temple which is being built, 3 people who are working here. Now, if you look at the 3 people, they're all lifting stones and helping out with that work. However, there's a difference. What is the difference? Let's look at it. The first person, he's doing that because he's getting a wage, daily wage. He's getting money for that, although the activity is same. So if he gets better money, more money, he won't mind switching it. Right? As we see in IT industry in Bay Area all the times, every Monday, you don't know which company you'll end up with. So where you get better wage, you move it because your motivation is money. Right? Although the activity is same. The second one is doing the same, but he has a big picture in mind. He's thinking, that his effort is contributing towards a holy cause. And of course, he's getting paid, he doesn't mind that. But he's saying, okay, I'm contributing, diverting my efforts for something big. So that is giving him satisfaction as well. The third one, the Kar Sevak, he's simply engaging as a service to God. All 3 are doing the same work, but the inner attitude towards the same work, external work, is different. And that is the inner attitude that counts even in the case of Karm Yog that we have been talking about. Hope this difference is clear. Now let's move on. Now there are different gradations here. Now the place where we are situated right now, most of us at least, I would say, the motivation for work is self-enjoyment. And it is called in our scriptures miserly. Okay? That karpanya dosh we spoke about. So that comes again in our scripture, Bhagavatam, I'll talk about that. The second category of people, their motivation is detached from the fruit and dedicate their work for a higher cause. They are superior. Sometimes when we get associated with causes in life, like Red Cross or even patriotism or something else, it has nothing to do about your own self, but you are associating with some higher cause. That is the second category of people. Now, whether they are detached from fruit or not, we don't know. They may be attached to the fruit, but what we are saying here is when they are detached from the fruit, they just do their best. Then they are superior, right? We looked at the example of Michael Phelps. Now he might be, I don't know if he's detached to the fruit or not, but these people put in their best in whatever they do, and they are process driven, not so much outcome driven at that point. And they could be making their life as a mission for something higher as well. We see so many people on this earth as well, right? Their mission is something higher. They want to serve people, they want to do charity, those kind of things are there. Internally, they may have what's going on, we don't know, but at least it's for a higher cause. And even beyond that are people who are not only detached to the fruit, but take that fruit and do not leave it hanging. Okay, they offer it to the lotus feet of God. They are truly situated in knowledge. Okay, so this is how the gradation of our work goes. Now for us, we have to reach to that stage. If we want to make our work as a devotion and not limit it to the sattva alone, we have to go to the third stage. Okay. Bhagavatam says, let's look at what Bhagavatam says. Kripana is saying that miserly as those who think that the ultimate reality consists only of sense objects produced from material energy. And he says that Kripana is one who has no control over the senses. So if you are focused only on senses throughout your life, and your work is also directed towards satiating or gratifying your senses alone, right? When we earn money, and if you're thinking, okay, I'm going to have the next best model of car and the phone and the house or the vacation, it is actually catering to your senses alone. And those kind of pursuits, which majority of the people focus on for most part of their life or entire life or across lifetimes, is called kripana. That is the lowest category of human existence, where you are simply focused on self-satisfaction, gratification, sense gratification, nothing beyond that. That is the lowest level. And in Brahma Sutra Vedavyas, the first statement that he makes is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. That means one should inquire who is God. As human, it's not that it's a choice. It's only when you are retired you start thinking. Athato Brahma Jigyasa is an obligatory duty on each human, because God has endowed us with this intellect. Then Vedavyas also goes on to say that why don't we do that? Why is it so difficult for us to get to read scriptures or get access to this knowledge or get our mind, intellect, and even our feet take us to a place where these kind of knowledge is being disseminated? It is because ajnanamevasya moola karanam. Ignorance is the root cause of all the problems afflicting the human or mankind, basically. Ignorance. And the process of spirituality is peeling that layer of ignorance step by step. That is essentially what we are doing. So ignorance is the biggest cause or the only cause of all the problems faced by mankind, including the fact that we don't try to understand or get exposure to or make an effort towards understanding the spiritual principles and start making progress towards that. Okay. Let's move on. Okay, so now let's get to the business end of our session today. All right. Join today to get, okay, that was just a promotional screenshot. Let's move on. So we are going to introduce some tools today. Okay, all the tools cannot be covered today, but we will start with that and see how far we can go. And of course, we will introduce Swamiji's video as well to sum it all up probably tomorrow. So let's get started. Karm Yog toolkit. Okay, I'll call it toolkit here. Tool number 1, right? We have been talking about this concept. Practice to focus on the process, not so much on the outcome. So it is basically the awareness of the controllables, mindfulness around the preparedness. Awareness about the controllables. Serenity prayer, we did that. That is the awareness. It is a self-awareness. Am I focusing on things which are within my domain of control, or have I started worrying about things which are beyond my control? And of course, a good self-awareness. See, spirituality is also an intelligent process. People think that it is, it's a blind and all that stuff. No, it is an intelligent process, because you are doing deliberate efforts. You are making deliberate efforts towards self-improvement. Right? It is one of the most exciting projects anybody can undertake, working on themselves. And part of that is having mindfulness around the preparedness as well. Right? You cannot have, it's like having a good touch with your reality around how much you are preparing. Some people are always complaining, this doesn't happen. No matter what I do, their inputs are not increasing, right? If Virat Kohli is practicing and improving something, he's doing it deliberately. So we should have a good assessment around our preparedness as well. If you're aiming for something high and you're not prepared enough, you cannot complain that, I'm not getting it. You should have an understanding that, I need to retry there. Prasad Buddhi will come, but your intuition will tell you, if you are having a good mindfulness, that, what, I could have put in better. My preparation was not that much. Now let's look at some of the tests or the yardsticks, okay, of this tool. What are some of the symptoms, the questions you could ask? What are the tests you can subject yourself to see if you're aligning to this principle or not? May not be all inclusive, but let's get an idea. Are you stressing about thinking about the failure? That is the first symptom. You are not aligning to this principle. Are you celebrating prematurely? And sometimes we are so confident that we start saying we are again in future. In tennis, it is said, and I have experienced it many times. I used to play a lot of tennis previously. The moment you are 40 love up and you start thinking about, okay, I've already won this game, you start losing points. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. Okay, this is where you're losing focus. And violating that principle as well. You're not in the mood. Are you making it a matter of life and death in your mind, even though it is not a battlefield? We fall to this trap as well. If you do that, oh my God, I'm stressing out. If it doesn't happen, the world is going to fall apart and come crashing down and this and that. Your mind will start hyping it up. These are some of the tests we need to watch out for. Are you predisposed to expecting a certain result? This should happen. This should happen. This should not happen. If any of these things, it's not inclusive, but some of the symptoms, then that tool basically that we are talking about is not being properly used. So this is a practice, deliberate practice we have to do in all the situations, in our work, relationships, and our day-to-day dealings around some of the things, because these things, any of these things, if they are coming, if we are getting too far ahead of ourselves, whether in terms of celebrating or getting stressed out, or making it a big deal, hyping it up, putting pressure on ourselves, or building expectations around the results, then this principle will be violated. So this is a tool we can use where we train our mind to become process-oriented and having a good understanding around the controllables. What are my controllables? Right? Stephen Covey, in his book of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he also talks about the circle of control. In fact, when he came to India, he spoke about that. He got inspired to write that book reading Bhagavad Gita only. He has taken a lot of stuff from Bhagavad Gita around that. So anyways, so this is tool number 1. We'll get into more discussion if you have any questions. Let's look at tool number 2 now. Tool number 2 is practice offering the fruits, results of our action to God. Now, action is performed in the spirit that it is done to the best of the ability for the pleasure of God. Now, what is the symptom for that? Are we able to take success, failure, praise, criticism, fame in an equanimous manner? Now, somebody succeeds, they become happy. If they're failure, they are forlorn and sad, right? That means this, we need to train our mind around this as well. Because all of them, these are temporary. And then Lord Krishna is saying you have to forfeit that dopamine kick to get a higher kick that God is going to give you because you are trying to align to this principle. When you start celebrating, you are digging a well for yourself to go on the other side as well. So he's simply giving you a principle so that you remain equanimous and draw his grace and help this aspect of your life. Or do you become happy when people praise you? Or do you feel a twitch in your heart when people criticize you? Those are the things you need to get better at. Fame in an equanimous manner. That pendulum principle that we spoke about. This is one of the self-test for us. If we are failing in that, that means we are not able to practice this second aspect, that third aspect, tool number 2, that where the fruits, results are for God enjoyment, not for us. The other aspect of it is, do we have a tendency to enjoy our own successes and get sad when we think, it's a reiteration of the same fact. So this is an important thing because when we practice this and do things to the best of our ability as a service to God, it changes the whole dynamics altogether. tomorrow we are going to talk about another topic which has been gaining some traction, like I said, right? Office politics. And we will revisit these tools to see how they map to why do we feel frustrated or let down in certain situations in our life. Now, office might be a microcosm of this world. It's a bigger problem that we have, that we need to deal with. We will get into that framework applying the Karm Yog principles to tackle this particular aspect. Okay, so that is for tomorrow. The second one was this. The tool number 3 is acceptance of results, aligning to God's will. It is called Prasad Buddhi. Now, if you remember the principles of surrender, it aligns to the first two principles as well. Prasad Buddhi means that it requires the firm faith that, as God's children, He's protecting us. And even if when things don't go our way, it is for our upliftment only. That faith that we have will have the Prasad Buddhi, the acceptance around things around us. See, if you don't have an acceptance, and if you don't have an acceptance, and if it changes your external circumstances just by stressing over it, worrying about it, then sure. But the point is, if you think deeply about it, anything is not going to change. But it is an opportunity forfeited to basically practice the principle that Lord Krishna is talking about. Okay, so we should not let go of this opportunity. Prasad Buddhi is a great, great asset to have. Right? I think in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, it is said contentment part of it. Right? Even in Navadha Bhakti, Lord Ram talks about the contentment part of it. That Santosh, person who has Santosh is the richest person. And person who does not have Santosh or contentment is the poorest person, because the higher your desire, the more poor you are. And just having more things available or at your disposal does not make you happy, regardless. So contentment is a great asset on the path of spirituality. In fact, it is said that 3 things we should be content about: the food on our plate, the wealth in our bank balance, and the spouse in the house. Okay, these 3 things, just be content. Don't look at others' plate, others' spouse, others' money, or the bank balance. We are violating that principle. So contentment is a big, big thing to have. And if you don't have contentment, we are poor. And Swamiji tells about a joke of there was a beggar who hits a lottery, or he gets a lot of money, and then he thinks, you know what, I'm going to change the way world looks at me by doing something that I've never done before. And then he decides, I'm going to first fulfill my needs, enjoy the good meal and get the coffee and soda and all that stuff and get some new clothes. And then the beggar that whom he used to pick up a fight with always, I'm going to go and give money to him. Okay, so he goes to him, gets a lot of money, and then he spent, and whatever is remaining, he said, okay, today I'm going to do charity. Beggar is going to do charity, right? He goes to the beggar and offers him money, whatever, 50, 100 bucks that he had remaining. But this beggar rejects that offer. He said, I don't take from beggars. Okay. He simply rejects it. His ego is coming into the play, right? So he rejected it. Then he goes to a lawyer and he said, okay, I need to put money to good use and I want to be a donor. Okay, then I've got 100 rupees. How should I donate it and whom should I donate it to? Can you make an arrangement? Lawyer said, sure, that's my bread and butter. I can certainly help you with that, but my fees is 500. So you give me $500 and I'll tell you what to do with your $100. So he said, all right, here also you can't do anything. Then he came to know that his country is going to war with another country to get control of their oil wells. He said, okay, that means our president or our country must be poor. They are going after other countries. He goes to the president and offers him, his 100 rupees. He said, please take it. He said, why? He said, I thought you are going to war for the sake of oil wells and money. So I thought you must be poor. So the point here is, who is really poor here? Is it the beggar? Is it the lawyer who's greedy? Or is it the president or the king who's going off war for the sake of other things? That needs to be thought. So contentment is a big deal here. And we need to have a prasad buddhi around our situation circumstances. We are going to use this tool also tomorrow to discuss that particular scenario. What stresses us basically with the office politics, negativity, or things which can be disconcerting to us. All right. So then let's look at some of the tests around it. One of the tests is when your mind starts complaining, whining, it gets disturbed and things don't go a certain way. Does it happen to you? It's a question for our introspection. Oh my God, this should have happened. Why didn't it happen? What if it doesn't happen? If that is happening and you are becoming upset, that means you're violating that principle. And then acceptance, that prasad buddhi aspect we need to work on more harder. Simply have an acceptance around that. The other test of it is, are you playing a victim card? Okay, that means you don't have an acceptance. You will continue playing victim card. You know what? The whole world is after me. Wherever I go, people are like that. They're just negative. I don't know why I come across such situations only. Right? The people are bad. Boss is bad. My friends are here. The world is out there. So when you start getting into that mindset, that means prasad buddhi has to be harnessed better. And you becoming pessimistic and negative about your situation or the world around. That is another aspect. Oh, you know what? My life is a disaster and there's no point in having living. It's not worth living at all. And even the situation about the world around. Ghor Kali Yuga has come and all that stuff that we talk about. When we become forlorn, sad, pessimistic, that attitude, in fact, in path of devotion, God says you need to be ashavadi. You need to be filled with inspiration and motivation, not like a diffused balloon. The whole air has gone out of it. They say that person who loses inspiration has truly become bankrupt. A person who's filled with inspiration, they don't see any obstacle as a big obstacle. They are not only content, but they are always motivated. And then they accept it. They have acceptance around that as well, right? So these are some of the things. Let's move on to the next tool. The next one, it's a very important one. Attitude of gratitude. Okay, Thanksgiving is coming, so it is something you can do that. Now, are we taking all the graces of God, such as good health, family, air, water, sunlight, human life, satsang, Guru's association, list goes on, for granted with no sense of gratitude? It's like a soul says, you know what, God, you're giving me all this, big deal. If your father is giving us all this stuff and you say, big deal, you only brought me to this earth. If you will not provide for me, who else will? That is called an attitude of ingratitude. Now, God is giving us all these things. Now, the winters are about to come. God is going to arrange for citrus fruits so that we get the vitamin C, so that we don't get scurvy, right? Scurvy, I guess. Vitamin C, it used to happen. Yeah, something like that. So all of this is arranged by God for us. And we lose a sense of appreciation about things which are going well in our life. It is said that under ordinary circumstances, extraordinary things are not understood. That is how our brain is wired. There was a guy, I forgot his musician's name, Swamiji gives this example. He had a concert and each ticket was selling for, I don't know, $1,000 or something like that, just 2 days before. And this guy, he changed his attire and sat down in New York metro station, outside New York metro station, and started playing on his instrument. That instrument itself was worth thousands of dollars. And not many people came to him. Couple of them observed him and threw maybe a dollar bill at him and went off. Now the same person, same instrument, same music, few days back, it was selling for thousands and thousands of dollars. People were holding, getting over each other too. And now he's singing, nobody's bothered about it. Same thing happens to our mind as well. Outstanding things are happening around us, but we take it for granted. And one bad thing, one black spot, and we start harping on that. Oh, this is not going well in my life. So that is where we lose that sense of gratitude around things around us. Einstein had said there are only two ways of looking at this world. Everything is a miracle or nothing is. So having this attitude of gratitude is a great skill to have. In fact, in our spiritual journal, if we make it a note to, express gratitude about 2 or 3 things every day, it will fill us up with a lot of positivity. Daniel Peel, he's a guy, I think he's a Christian. He said one of the things that you could practice doing every day is bless people. Just send out good wishes when you meet them, greet them, and write, something that you are grateful for. That itself will start changing your thought process and start bringing in positivity in your life. So when you have that heart full of gratitude and prayer, there's no scope for pessimism, negativity, and stuff like that. So these are small tools that we can practice to start building a good, resilient mind full of optimism, hope, and positivity. And are we expressing gratitude to God for every accomplishment while taking accountability for any failures? Right? That's another opportunity for us to express gratitude to God, that God, you have enabled me to get something special done, which has made people around me happy. Right? That is an opportunity. We should not let go of it. Other opportunities, all right, I'm so great. Wow, what a wonderful job I'm doing. That is another opportunity where you can really thank God in sincerely from your heart, because we don't have an ability. It's only God who enables you for a specific purpose. And if we start taking credit for that, it is called a thief mentality, stealing mentality. Lata Mangeshkar, one of the things I loved about her, in her interviews, she said that every time I step onto the stage, she would do like this, take blessings from God. And every time throughout her career, she said, I express my gratitude to God for having bestowed this gift of voice to her. And she wanted to serve it to the best of her ability, so that if she won't have that kind of a mindset or gratitude, she said, I would always feel that that gift might be taken away from me. Okay, not out of fear, but it's a sincere attitude, gratitude that she carried throughout her life. And we know, right, how successful she became. So this is a great attitude to have. If you are endowed with some good skill in life, which is enabling you to make a difference, always have a silent prayer for God. But at the same time, since none of us is perfect, there will be times where we will make mistakes. And at that time, you take the accountability on yourself that, okay, God, I'm not perfect. And please give me strength so that I can continue working on myself and keep improving. So this is another tool that we can practice. And this one is a very important one. I think I'll cover one more and then open it up for discussion. Practice the presence of God and Guru all the time. Okay, this is a very important one. In Karm Yog, this will come in very handy. You figure out a way to do that. Whatever works for you. There are a lot of apps available. JK Yog Radio is there, which you can actually Jai Jai Shri Radhe, that reminder will come. You can set it up. Whether it's 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, start increasing that frequency where you simply think about God during your work breaks or anything. Or maybe have a WhatsApp group with your friends where you keep reminding, like we do that. We have a group, we keep reminding whenever you're working for a long time, just do that and have a quiet mental note of, okay, God is there, God is with me, and God is watching me. So what you need to think in that case, when you take a quick break, few seconds, doesn't take long, but it will become a practice. That God is both God and Guru are both my protector and witness, both of the things. Right? When I started doing this practice, I would tell, I was told that you have to think God is with me and God is watching me. But I would say God is with me and God is watching you. Okay, if somebody is doing wrong. So it's for us, not for somebody else. You have to practice it that way. Now, the test for that is, you thinking you have privacy to your thoughts if you're thinking something bad and you are alone. First of all, we should never feel lonely. Okay, God and Guru are always with us. Then the biggest problem that we have is we think we have privacy to our thought. Nobody else knows it. Okay, that is something we have to remind ourselves. No, somebody's watching it, somebody's noting it. Okay, and this practice would enable us to deepen that practice. Because most of the bad things we do when we think nobody's there, right? There was a guy who was about to commit a crime. He was going to do some robbery or somewhere. And then he met his friend Shuklaji. Oh, Shuklaji, you're coming, and he postponed the plan. Why? Because all of a sudden this realization came, somebody is watching me. Now, if you start bringing this practice to your head, see, it will take us closer to the injunction from Lord Krishna. Bhagavad Gita, what does it tell Arjun? Sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmaran. Okay, satati yuktanam. These verses are there, which is saying every moment, not without a break, nirantarta, continuity. So this practice will get us closer to that. And if we get that deepen enough in our head, it will take us closer to the goal of life. And it will prevent us from doing bad things. If we dirty our mind, it's like, okay, Lord Krishna, I want Lord Krishna to come in my heart. Right? Now, if I want him to come in my heart, if I'm going to think about something bad or dirty, then I'm making it dirty. Why would he come? If your guest is coming to your home, let's say Prime Minister Modi is coming, or let's say President Biden is coming, you will clean your drawing room for that. Would you make it dirty or would you rather clean? Now, if you want to welcome God in your heart, and you have this understanding that if I'm going to think about something negative, getting into a negative thought process about somebody, or getting bitter, getting angry, getting upset, or thinking about something which is not good, then God and Guru are there, they're watching, and I'm dirting it. If I'm dirting it, then I will not get their grace. They'll go further away from my house. They'll say, I'll go to a cleaner heart. Why should I bother coming to this dirty heart? So if we can reason it out with us, then we will be able to deepen this practice. This is a very important practice, and it is a Karm Yog practice as well. When you think God and Guru are there with you, in fact, you are under their Suraksha Chakra. When you start truly believing it, they have a kind of a, Guru, they make this chakra around you, but you just have to believe it. And this practice, regardless, we all have to do. And then are we excessively dependent on our family, friends? Oh, why don't you call me? Don't you know I'm alone here? I get upset when I don't talk to you. You have forgotten me. What kind of a friend are you? All these things will go away. For our emotional security and happiness, the keys that we have given to the world, or we are used to giving to the world, that we have to start taking control over. Because our true Nati is God and Guru only. God is a perfectionist and a very, what do you call that? He says, I know I'm there in your life, but I am at, third, fourth, fifth, sixth number, 1, 2, 3 are Chunnu Munnu and that, friend of mine, parents and all that stuff. He said, move me on the top of the list. And then it's not that I am at the top of the list and there are still 5, 6 more things out there. He said exclusively. Okay. Ananyash Chintayanto Mam. Ananyash means exclusiveness he wants. He's a perfectionist. Okay. In the world also it happens, right? When we start going to somebody and people become possessive and they say, hey, come on, you losing, you're not my friend anymore now. The other person is your friend. God does the same to us as well. He said, all right. When you come to me, your family and relatives have problem with that. Okay. Everybody says, okay, well, you are going to become a sannyasi, Baba, don't do this. Okay, do it, but do it in limits and all that stuff. They have a problem. And I'll apply the same principle. When you come to me, don't bring the world in. I'm giving you 5 or 6 things to think about. Naam, Roop, Gun, Leela, Dham, Parikar. Okay, now you coming to my area, I will give you my own things only. That is only allowed. Rest all is not allowed. So that will happen when we start deepening this practice, and this excessive dependence that we have on the world to feel complete. That has to be gradually worked upon if we truly want to make a difference and move on. Because this thing holds us back. And it's not many people. We say, for most part, we have it cracked in this world. But just one relation, I'm just not able to conquer that. My daughter, she's my softest part. Now my son or my grandson or my wife or my this, just 1 or 2 people will make you repeat in this world because you don't need more than that. It's not that you need a whole army of people to bring you back of this world. Just 1 or 2 are enough. More than enough. For that matter, even a pet is enough. You don't even need people for that matter. One pet, one thing related to Maya is good enough. It could be money, it could be prestige, it could be your pet, it could be some relation, could be any, and we end up finding something or other in every life. God says, make me your exclusive and the only goal, and the job will be done. The other aspect of this tool number 5 that I spoke about is, it will help you deepen the Karm Yoga aspect of it as well, right? When we start bringing God into the mix, that He's there, He's my protector and witness, our consciousness will start transforming. And even while working, we will have that feel, and it will start simplifying our life. Trust me, when you work without any burden, excessive burden that you put on your head, you will have, unbelievable results. That spirit in which you can perform it itself is pretty amazing. You just have to experience that to believe that, how much difference it can start making in your life. You start operating with freedom. That is the beauty of it. All right, with that, I know let's open it up for discussion. And then, of course, we don't have to be lazy, procrastinator while working on our inner growth. I know I need to work. That is why we have created that tracker, that Urvi has beautiful tracker that it has created. Bhagavad Gita Shloka 16.5, 16.3 talks about the Devik Gun and doing away with demonic good. So there's an opportunity to start picking up few things at a time. And once we are able to work on it, it will give you a lot of confidence, because you just have to replicate that model for other things that you want to work on. So once you taste success working on something, it is very easily extensible and reproducible for other things as well. So do avail that opportunity. The tracker is there. Maybe you can post the link here as well and start working on it. Okay, with that, let me open it up, because tomorrow we will discuss another interesting topic. We will go into some more tools, as well as we will pick up some scenario, real scenario, and see how we can employ a framework and see how that framework can be, extrapolated to some other walks of life as well. Okay, any questions?
Nitinji, there's a request to show the slide of toolkit 1.
I'm going to share this one. These are so I will be able to share.
Yeah, those are.
I'll share this. I'll upload this presentation on there as well. Okay. So all the none of it is proprietary stuff and all. I think these are good stuff. So I will be posting it as well. So, but regardless, let me go back whatever you're looking for in case you want to take that.
That was the slide of tool number 1.
Is this the okay? Is this the one? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. Let's take a few questions.
Yes. Kumarji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, I wanted tool number 2 also. I'm sending these slides by IM to my nephew.
Sure. We'll introduce more tools, and we'll introduce some frameworks as well. So yes, please do take advantage of these, and let's we can embellish these as well. Just some of the framework around it. Okay, I can see.
Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Swati ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Swati ji.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. I have just what I have understood, that I will just tell in some form of story of this doership, what I have made myself to convince myself that whatever we do, why we don't think that when I did it, I should take, I enjoy that fruit. But what I tried to explain myself, that I will put in some form of story. It's small only. Like if some boss is there, he has one servant in his house. And then when servant comes, the boss asks him to make something for him, like halwa bana do. Then he goes in his kitchen, uses his thing, make halwa for him. And then when he come out, then boss says, give it to me. Then if he start thinking that, oh, this I have made, why should I give it to you? This is for my pleasure because I made it with my hand. And then if boss fires him, then he will not get the salary. If he goes at his home, he will have nothing to eat or nothing to bring something like that. In the same way, this all world is of God. We have come here. And when God gives us energy to do something, like the servant, and then servant says, this is for my thing. But no, this is not my thing. He was supposed to eat that halwa because it was for his pleasurement I did. So in same way, I am trying to convince myself that, oh, whatever I am doing, it's not for my thing. I have come here in his world using his thing, and I am preparing it, and I am giving the fruits to him because he has given me the chance to do it. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Very nice, Swati ji. Beautiful analogy to illustrate. See, similar to like Swati ji so beautifully explained, that we need to create our own triggers mindfully. Whatever works for us. There was another auntie, I met her, that she was saying that she's so fascinated with jewelry. Okay, it's just like her subconscious is trained to look at that. And then she trained her mind that whenever she would look at jewelry, she would immediately think about Krishna, right? That sparkle in that is coming from Krishna. So she created her own trigger. Her weakness, she converted it into something devotional where she could get her mind to God. So similarly, we have to be mindful. It is a deliberate practice that we are trying to do. We don't know where our mind goes, right? So how we can dovetail it and take it towards God is an art we have to inculcate. The day this practice will start deepening, God is with me, so many things will get sorted out. So many things. That if you have, let's say, a Z plus security around you, you will feel very empowered. Okay, nobody can come and do anything for me. Here you have God and Guru with you. It's just that you're not willing to acknowledge it. They are willing to, he said, just realize I am there with you. And that practice we have to deepen by systematically dismantling this conditioning that we have acquired over so many lifetimes. That will take us, I mean, it's such a big thing, right? Just understanding you have somebody so precious with you all the times. Yes.
Yes, Sandhya-ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. I mean, I have no questions, sorry, but I just couldn't stop myself from saying this excellent session. I really loved it. And especially the topic about God, Nirantarta, Ananyata, the way you explained it all, really, it was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
second your thought. Excellent session.
Yeah, I hope the tools are making, helping out. I'm going to publish it anyways, but do take off it and embellish on this checklist for yourself. Okay, it's not, I put 7 because Swamiji also sticks to the number 7. We can continue to include more things, but these are all, frameworks that we can truly benefit from. And this shloka itself has a transformative power of, we don't have to do anything else, I would say. If you simply follow these Karm Yog principles, bring that devotion aspect, think about God, that He's there. Basically, the purpose of Vedas and scriptures is served. Nothing more is needed at that point, right? Devotion, it will lead to devotion. It will lead to that belief that God is my protector. It will lead to surrender. All the things will come. The beauty of spirituality is it comes like a pack of noodles. You pick one thing, others will follow along. And we can apply that principle here. So that's why we are spending more time on this shloka. We'll anyway cover everything else, but let it go deeper and let's avail all the tools, utilities, frameworks that all our team are creating for our own benefit. Yes, Manishi.
Manishji, Radhe Radhe, please.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Nitinji, yeah, you mentioned the attachment aspect, at the end. And so I just wanted to say that, and the exclusivity that God asked for, and the reason Swamiji gave a beautiful reason for that is, because our family or attachment here in the material, it's all material. And if you have divine, if you have God and material and family members, then your mind is getting purified by God and Guru. But then you're attached again in the material world. You're getting impure again. So it's kind of like a cycle. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that attachment, wherever we have our attachment to, when we depart this body, that's where we end up. And the perfect example is Maharishi Jad Bharat, which we all know about, how he got attached to the baby deer. And then at the time of his death, that's what he was thinking about. And so he ended up in the deer yoni. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Beautiful point, Manishi. In fact, our scriptures say this concept as Kunjar Shochavat. Kunjar Shochavat means that, like elephant bath, he takes a bath and then puts the things back on, right? All the dust back on it.
All the dirt, yeah.
Yeah. So the same problem happens with us, right? For us, the spiritualities when we do go to temple, right? Partly when we do seva. Seva also, we could be doing seva, but until we have reached that stage, we don't know whether it's truly Karm Yoga or not, right? Until our consciousness is clear. Or we are not doing it just for the sake of, getting attached to stuff. And then Swamiji says Nishkamta will come at a later stage, but even otherwise, it could be counterproductive if we are not doing it for the right reasons. People, if you fall into the trap of not being supportive or doing it for visibility or doing it for reasons then it could be counterproductive. So Kunjar Shochavat means you are doing things, right things, but you are doing more wrong things. Right? There was a guy who said, he used to earn $1,000 a day, but he came and said, you know what, I'm actually bankrupt. And it was asked, you earn decent amount of money, but why are you bankrupt? He said, because my expenses are $50,000 a day. So for us, if we are investing time, taking one step forward and 3 backwards, it's actually counterproductive. So preserving is also important as well as incrementally progressing. So these tools are going to be really helpful. We'll add more tools tomorrow. But the last one, the fifth one, if we can deepen that practice, nothing like it. Actually, nothing else is needed if we can deepen this practice. And build your own triggers around it. Whatever works. There is no one size fit all for all. Okay, if it is a reminder, if it is an app, if it is looking at something, if it is at, when you put some triggers before food, getting water, anything, going to this room, whatever the trigger works for you as frequently as you can remember until we get to Tesham Satata Yuktanam or Sarveshu Kaleshu state, we could do that. But in addition to that, this is the main thing. You need to take supplements, right? That attitude of gratitude that we spoke about, that concept of offering the fruits, that it's not for my enjoyment alone, right? Deepening that part of it. So those all can be taken as a supplement along with it as well. So tomorrow we'll get more specific into the office scenario because that thread was created. It's important to tackle that and have some kind of a clear understanding. And I'm sure that concept is extensible to other life as well. Yes, any other questions? Let's make some announcements. Yes, Arunji, you had something?
Yeah. Arunji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Yeah, I have a question about this aspect, right? So I don't know if anyone else feels this sometimes. What happens is that when you're doing a certain type of work, be it maybe like in this case, we talk about office work, like you try to do the work so what the aspect says is that you do the work to the best of your ability and then leave the results up to God, right? I'm getting one step before that. So sometimes there'll be situations where maybe you're not feeling that inspired, or maybe you're not able to do the work to the best of your ability. And when you can't do the work to the best of your ability, sometimes that gets into your mind, and it's not appropriate to say that, oh, wait, leave the results to God, because I know I didn't do full justice to my work to begin with, right? This can happen in anything. Maybe even spiritually, sometimes you're not very inspired, you're feeling a little down on a certain day, or maybe even your work, you're not able to, you felt maybe I could do better, but I maybe did not do justice to it for whatever reason. So how do you resolve that kind of a feeling before you say that, okay, I've done my best and the results are up to God?
True. So that is where, if you look at the first one that I had put in here, right, this is the first one. So if you look at the first one of the aspects of it is knowing that you're prepared, the mindfulness around your preparedness, right? So you would know intuitively, was it your best, or you could have done something differently? Now let's look at it from another angle. Now, inspiration is something we cannot wait for it to come. If the big picture is clear to us, we will automatically fill ourselves with inspiration, right? For example, if there's $1 million lying in front of you, would you care at that point? Would you wait for inspiration to come even you're feeling lethargic? You would just run. And if there are people who start taunting you along the way, you would care less. You would simply go and fetch it. So the value, once it is clear and you make it a habit in your mind that, okay, end of the day, I'm doing it for the pleasure of God, and I have to, He's endowed with me with certain abilities. I'm earning a paycheck, and what would please God if He's looking at me? Would it please Him if I exert myself, or would it please Him if I simply let it go and wait for the inspiration to come back? So those are the kind of reasonings we can do with ourselves to actually get that inspiration back and then put in our best and leave our signature on whatever we do. So I think that is also an art we have to learn, to not let our mind dictate our inspiration to us, but to find reasons to inspire ourselves. Some people say, my mood is not there, I'm not feeling inspired today. Then what do? What if we don't feel inspired for the rest of our life? Do we let it get waste? If God asks you what happened, by the way, you seemed very enthusiastic in your life, and so what? One day I did not feel the motivation, and that's why my journey stopped. God will say, you had the free will, you had the knowledge. Why didn't you take measures to fill yourself with inspiration, gave yourself reasons, enough reasons? So it's just like the value. Once we attach value to something, the inspiration is a natural byproduct of it. Like people said, I can't control my anger. You whack off $5,000 from their account every time they get angry. See what happens, right? It's just that they don't. You say, okay, every time you get angry, $5,000 will vanish from your bank account. They will forget getting angry. Right? Birbal trained a goat not to eat grass by that process. And similarly, you tell that I'm not feeling inspired, you give something that really interests you, whether it could be an IPL ticket or it could be the tickets to that big movie that is coming up. You will all of a sudden feel enthusiasm, need to sleep, and every tiredness will go away. I felt that myself, my sleep is like, I would give Kumbhakaran a run for his money, okay, if given a choice to myself. It's another thing that it has gotten regulated after I gotten into Seva. But then when I was studying, we went to Brazil, and the time zone there was so odd. like it was neither here nor there. Okay, but because I was so inspired, so enthusiastic about going to the field trips with all the cohort members, today we are going to go there. Those 4 hours I was living happily, no sign of fatigue or anything. And here in office, sometimes even after 6 to 8 hours sleep, I'm feeling so tired, what kind of a work it is. So the onus of filling ourselves with inspiration lies with us. We can actually do that when we attach value to something and our intellect is convinced around it. Hopefully I didn't confuse you much, added some value to your question.
Thank you. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, beautifully explained, Nitinji. Like giving inspiration, getting inspiration from strong why, right?
Strong why. That why has to be strengthened in our head all the times. Right? Swamiji, what motivates him? He never feels tired. He overcomes jet lag. And then he said, Maharajji and God has given us this wonderful opportunity to do seva. So I want to make sure every moment is put to good use. That is his motivation, and he's able to do it relentlessly. Every morning when he goes to retreats, I'm so amazed. He's the first one to come and the last one to leave. And when he comes, he's doing that, subtle body relaxation or walking you through with the yoga steps. He's doing it as if it's his first day and it's the best job in the world. That feeling you get. How is he able to inspire himself day in and day out by doing the same kind of things? Something amazing, right? That he's able to tap into, and if he can do it, we all can do it.
The divine presence. Yeah. Thank you, Nitinji. What a beautiful, beautiful session. Wow. We are blessed to be here today. So if time permitting, we can do some announcements.
Yes, let's do the announcements. I know we have 11,111 diyas coming up for Diwali. I'll not steal your thunder and let you announce about that and some of the great events that we are eagerly waiting for. Please go ahead and announce those, and then we can get to our devotional segment afterwards.
Yes, thank you. So first announcement is about Swamiji's India tour. The tour is starting from October 13 to 16, that is in Banara. Second place is Puri. For that, the tour is starting November 18 to November 22. And again, December 25 to 31st is in Banara. All the Swamiji's India tour is going to happen. Very, very exciting. We are going to post all the links for the registration in the chat. The next announcement is about the Karwa Chauth Puja going on in RKT Temple, Dallas. And join the Radha Krishna Temple of Dallas in celebrating most awaited festival of year, which is Diwali, and lighting 1111 lamps of goodwill. Wow, that sounds really exciting. So many diyas lighting, Lakshmi Puja, special Diwali Puja, Ram Leela, Govardhan Puja, Annakut, carnival games, 1008 times Hanuman Chalisa chanting. Oh my God, there's so much more exciting events and festivities going on for Diwali, which will start from October 21st to October 25th. I'm going to post all the events details in the chat window.
Wonderful. Thank you, Pallaviji. We are never short of action. And if you follow us, RKT, on the Facebook page, please do like, comment, share. All the, the offerings that are coming through CIC, that is in a small way, you can help out, spread the word around so that we can continue doing more of such, in the coming times. So please do check it out and help spread the word around as well. And Swamiji's India tour, do check it out. Please fill out the feedback tracker as well and take opportunity to enroll for that daily tracker where you can sign up for things that you really want to work on. Do check out on that opportunity. It's a great way, and a lot of us have already started participating on it. Okay.
One more quick thing. I missed about it. Is a reminder about the weekly satsang every Sunday, 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. CST. Join us every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. at Radha Krishna Temple, and it's virtual also, online as well, in our weekly satsang.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a great way to solidify some of the concepts that we are talking about. Roop Dhyan meditation is the strongest meditation you can do to get closer to God. So do avail that opportunity. And thank you for all the announcements. Shefali has raised her hand today. So yes, Shefali, please go ahead. Don't ask me a tough question though.
Radhe Radhe Shefali ji, please go
Radhe
ahead.
Radhe Nitin ji. Yeah, actually I want to sing a bhajan. I don't want to ask a
Okay, okay.
question.
All right. So we move on to our devotional segment where we're going to go through some of the bhajans like we always do. You're welcome to continue joining us. The theory and the philosophy part of it on Nididhyasan up to usually ends at 10, and then we spend another 900 seconds or so to go through some of the bhajans aspect of it. So today Shefali is the first one to go. So go ahead, Shefali. Let's move on to that segment.
Yeah. Radhe Radhe
Floor
everyone.
is all yours. Yeah, Radhe Radhe.
It's all yours.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन अपना बना ले मोहे मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन अपना बना ले मोहे मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन तू है मेरा मैं भी तेरा मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन पीछा नहीं छोड़ू तेरा मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन अपना बना ले मोहे मेरे नंद नंदन. Yeah, Radhe Radhe.
Very nice, Shefali. You sing so well, and hearing this song, I'm sure Krishna has no choice but to come help you break your fast. Okay, if you're putting Karva Chauth fast for him, so very beautifully sung. Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Nitin.
Beautiful,
Very
Shefali.
nice. Thank you so much.
Sandhya ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
I just actually, like, again related to Anandita, I had not thought of saying anything today, but these few lines, which are actually part of a Bollywood song, but I really love these lines. So I'll just say, not sing. Okay. दरिया को है मेरे वो समंदर मिल गया, जरिया जीने का तेरे अंदर मिल गया, ख्वाहिश है जब भी निकले जो दम मेरा, कांधे पे सर हो तेरा, एक तू ही तो है, एक तू ही तो है, एक तू ही तो है, सब तू ही है मेरा.
Wow, very nice, Sandhya. See, it's that's basically the devotion to Krishna is not only bringing out the melody but also shero shairin. That's right. That is the next level for sure, and that was very well said. Beautiful. See, the perspective starts changing. The same Bollywood songs, then you would hear previously, so whatever reasons, now it start getting directed towards Krishna and God Himself, and it happens. Very nice. Loved it, Sandhya. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Now we have Joanji. Joanji is going to sing, and then we have Ayalji who's going to wrap it up with a beautiful song as well. Joanji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, is it okay if I sing a Ram bhajan tonight? A couple of verses?
Sure. Ram, Krishna, they are all the same. So please go ahead. We
Okay,
love when you sing. So.
Okay, thank you. Koi samjhe, koi samjhe, koi samjhe, Ram nit कृपा करते हैं, राम नित कृपा करते हैं, कोई समझे, कोई समझे, कोई समझे, राम नित कृपा करते हैं, कभी कोमल हाथ प्रभु का, कभी बोझल हाथ प्रभु का, कभी कोमल हाथ प्रभु का, कभी बोझल हाथ प्रभु का सब भक्त करे कल्याण पग पग रक्षा करते हैं राम नित कृपा करते हैं कोई समझे कोई समझे कोई समझे राम नित कृपा करते हैं राम नित कृपा करते हैं कभी ज्ञान सता बरसाते कभी दीनता दे तरसाते कभी ज्ञान सता बरसाते दीनता दे तरसाते कभी सुख दे स्वाग समा कभी दुख दुविधा देते हैं राम नित कृपा करते हैं कोई समझे कोई समझे कोई समझे भक्त सुजान राम नित कृपा करते हैं राम नित कृपा करते हैं. Well, there are two more verses, but I messed up on the second verse, so I'm gonna call it a night for now. So I hope that's okay. Yeah, I did messed up a little bit on the second verse. I haven't sung this bhajan in a while, so thank you for listening.
Awesome, awesome.
You sing it very, very nicely, sweetly, Jonji, and there is something about your voice, right? It's very sweet, and especially I think Hindi is not your first language, so it sounds even more sweeter because of that. So always love it when you do that. So thank you so much for that.
Okay, thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, very nice.
Thank you, Joanji. Beautiful, beautiful singing. Beautiful bhajan.
Thank you.
Payalji, Radhe Radhe, we save you for the last, right?
Yes, please go ahead.
Last but not the least.
Last but not the least.
Radhe Radhe, Pallavi, Nitin ji, and everyone. Yeah. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. कदम्ब केरी डालू बोले श्री कृष्णा शरणम मम यमुना तेरी पारो बोले श्री कृष्णा शरणम मम व्रज 84 कोस बोले श्री कृष्णा शरणम मम कुंड कुंडनी सीढ़ियों बोले श्री कृष्णा शरणम मम कमल कमल पर मधुकर बोले श्री कृष्णा शरणम मम डाल डाल पर पक्षी बोले श्री कृष्णा शरणम मम वृंदावनना वृक्षों बोले श्री कृष्णम शरणम मम गोकुलियानी गायों बोले श्री कृष्णम शरणम मम श्री कृष्णम शरणम मम श्री कृष्णम शरणम मम श्री कृष्णम शरणम मम श्री कृष्णा 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 शरणम मम. Radhe Radhe.
Very nice, Payalji. Is it something you have composed yourself?
No, not at all. I got it. I searched it Krishna bhajans and I got it in YouTube. Yeah.
We have set the bar high, so high for you that whatever you sing, it seems like you only have composed it. Very nice. Beautiful.
My composition. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Very, very nice. And I don't know. I think I'm speechless. like I always am when it comes at 10:15. So yes, Pallavi, anything you wanted to say? Thank you again, everybody. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and we'll talk about some of the practical aspects, continue on our Karm Yog journey, and we'll wrap it up in 2 more sessions. Then we'll proceed further, and I hope you've been enjoying this, although it has been a recap series, but it's always good to keep on taking a dip in Bhagavad Gita as deep as we possibly can.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you, Nitinji. Yeah, it was very, very enlightening, awesome session. We are blessed to be attending the sessions today. And thank you, all of you. Have a great day, blessed night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Great day. Have a wonderful day.
Radhe Radhe. Yes.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you, everyone.